Hello students, welcome to a biology second PC chapter called ecosystem. In the previous class we are discussed the topics like what is meant by ecosystem, then the types of ecosystem as well as functional components of an ecosystem. So there are four functional components are there. The four functional components one is called as a energy flow, second one called as a decomposition, third one is called as a nutrient cycle, and fourth one called as a productivity. So the productivity, decomposition, energy flow and nutrient cycle, these are the four functional components of a ecosystem. In previous class we discussed the productivity. There are two types of productivity. One is called as a primary productivity, another called as a secondary productivity. Primary productivity, the amount of biomass or organic matter produced per unit area over a time period by plants during photosynthesis is called as a primary productivity. The primary productivity is expressed in terms of weight or energy. Okay. The primary productivity is classified into two types: gross primary productivity, another called as a net primary productivity. The gross primary productivity, which means the rate of production of biomass or organic matter during photosynthesis by producers, it is called as a gross primary productivity. Second one called as a net primary productivity. It means a considerable amount of energy or biomass is utilized by plants for respiration, and remaining energy or biomass is transferred to the next trophic level. That is, the biomass which is left in the producers after utilization of organic matter during during the respiration, that is called as a net productivity, primary productivity. Okay. Then the gross primary productivity is minus to the respiration, then we are going to get the net primary productivity. The second type of productivity is called as a secondary productivity. It is defined as the rate of formation of a new organic matter by consumer. It is called as a secondary productivity. So these are the topics we discussed in the previous class. Now we are move on to the next one called as a decomposition. Decomposition. So in the previous class we discussed the types of ecosystem. In that, the one we are going to take an the example called as a pond ecosystem. After that, the functional components of an ecosystem. In that, one is called productivity, second called as a decomposition, third one is called as a energy flow, and fourth one is called as a nutrient cycle. When come to the second one, a decomposition. Decomposition, which means the process of breakdown of complex organic matter into simple inorganic materials like carbon dioxide, water and nutrients by decomposers is called decomposition. In other words, the decomposers break down complex organic matter into inorganic substances like carbon dioxide, water and nutrients is called a decomposition. The decomposition process, we are going to heard two type of words. One is called as a detritus, another called as a detritivore. Detritus, which means the parts of dead plants and animals including fecal matter constitute the detritus. Then detrivore, which means an animal that feeds the animal an animal that feeds on detritus is called detrivore. The dead and decaying organic matter is called as a detritus. The animal which feed on the detritus is called detrivore. The best example for detrivore is earthworm, some fungi, bacteria, maggots, woodlice, etc. etc. When come to the earthworm, earthworm belongs to the a phylum called as a Annelida. Annelida, a segmented animals. Such earthworms break down the organic complex matter into simple molecules. Not only it break down the complex molecule and makes the simple form, it also loosening the soil. The loosening of soil helps in aeration and entry of roots, plant roots. Hence, earthworm is said to be friends of farmer. Friends of farmer. Farmer friends. When come to the a process, decomposition process. How the decomposition process is taken place? How the parts of dead and decaying organic matter become decomposed. So there are 5 steps are there. One is called as fragmentation of the detritus. Second, leaching. Third one, catabolism. Fourth one, humification. Fifth one, mineralization. So these are the 5 steps the decomposition process is taken place. First one, fragmentation of detritus. The process in which detritus break down into small fragments by detrivore. Detrivore on feeding is called fragmentation of detritus. So in the fragmentation process, what happens? The detritus, the dead organic matter is become breakdown. Such breakdown process is carried by a detrivore like earthworm. That is called as a fragmentation. The second, after breakdowning of the detritus by detrivore, the second step is called as leaching. Leaching means the process in which water soluble inorganic nutrients move down into deeper layer of the soil. Deeper layer of the soil. So in the leaching process, what happens? There is a water soluble inorganic nutrients. Those are moved down into deeper layers of the soil. So here what happens when the water soluble inorganic materials transferred or moved down into the a soil deep layer? Here what happens? They are get precipitated as unavailable salts. Then third step, catabolism, which means the process in which the complex insoluble organic substances are converted into simple soluble organic and inorganic substances by extracellular enzymes of decomposing bacteria and fungi. This is called catabolism. So what happens here? What the insoluble organic substances are there? Those are become converted. Those are become a breakdown to form a soluble organic inorganic substances. This conversion process is carried by some decomposing bacteria and fungi by releasing the enzymes. Okay, overall what happens? The bacteria and fungal enzymes degrade the detritus into simple inorganic substances. This is the third step. When come to the fourth step, a humidification. The process in which simple detritus is converted into dark colored amorphous humus by the action of microbe is called humidification. Humidification. So in the humidification, what happens? There is an accumulation of dark amorphous colored substances. That dark amorphous colored substances is called humus. What the detritus, when it is converted into inorganic substance, that detritus is become dark amorphous colored humus by the action of microbes. When come to the last step called as a fifth one, mineralization. Mineralization. The process in which the mineral nutrients are released from the humus by the action of microbe is called mineralization. So in the mineralization, what happens? The humus is further degraded by some microbes and release the inorganic nutrients. Inorganic nutrients. In this way, what happens? The whole decomposition process is occur. So this is a 5 marks topic. Kindly note down the 5 steps. So by the 5 steps, you are going to explain the decomposition process. The 5 steps like fragmentation of detritus, second leaching, third catabolism, fourth humidification, fifth mineralization. So in this way, the decomposition process is taken place. This is the second a functional component of an ecosystem. Then after that, what happens? Factors affect the decomposition. Factor affect the decomposition. Which are the factors affect the decomposition process? The first one, oxygen. Increase in the supply of oxygen increase the rate of decomposition. If oxygen supply is increases, the decomposition rate also increases. Decrease in the supply of oxygen, the rate of decomposition also decreases. So here oxygen is very essential. Second, temperature. Increase in the temperature from 10 to 25 degree centigrade increase the rate of decomposition. How the temperature is increases about 10 to 25 degrees centigrade, then the decomposition process also increases. If the temperature is decreases, the decomposition process is also decreases, that means slow. Third, soil moisture. Increase in soil moisture increase the rate of decomposition. So how much the soil moisture is present, that much decomposition process is taken place. If the soil moisture is decreased, the rate of decomposition also decrease. Next, chemical composition of detritus. The rate of decomposition is more when the detritus is rich in nitrogen and water soluble substances like sugar. So the decomposition process is more when means if the detritus contains a rich amount of nitrogen as well as water soluble substances like sugar molecule. It is very important. As well as the rate of decomposition is slowed down when the detritus is rich in lignin and chitin, a chemical substance. The lignin and chitin, these are the exoskeleton substances present in the some insects, wings or etc. Shells of some animals. If the lignin and chitin content is more in detritus, then the rate of decomposition is slow. Okay, then the next factor is called soil pH. Soil pH. The neutral and slightly alkaline pH of the soil is rich in detritus, thereby increase the rate of decomposition. Neutral or slightly alkaline condition of soil is helpful for increasing the rate of decomposition. The last one is next one, the acidic pH of soil decreases the number of detritus. The rate of decomposition is decreases. The acidic nature of the soil will not enhance the decomposition process. Alkaline or a neutral nature of the soil enhance the decomposition process. The next one, low temperature, dryness, and anerobiosis inhibit the decomposition. Anerobiosis, low temperature, dryness. Anerobiosis means nothing but the absence of oxygen condition. Absence of oxygen condition inhibit the decomposition process. These are the factors affect the rate of decomposition. So it is also very important. First factor is oxygen, temperature, soil moisture, chemical composition of detritus, soil pH, low temperature, dryness, and anerobiosis inhibit the rate of decomposition. So this is about the a process of decomposition. So next we are move on to the a third functional component called as a energy flow. Energy flow. So energy able to flow from one group of organism to another group of organism. So in the previous class we discussed a pond as an ecosystem. Here the three communities are there. Plants are the producer community, animals are the consumer community, and a saprophytes and some bacteria and fungus are comes under the reducers or decomposers. So in that what happens, there is a transfer of energy. Flow of energy is taken place, one group of organisms to another group of organisms. For example, plants prepare their own food. That means they are able to store the energy by a process called as a photosynthesis. So after that, the herbivorous animals able to directly feed on the plants. Then the energy is transferred to the herbivores from plants through food. Then the carnivorous animals are able to feed on the herbivores. Then the energy is flow from herbivores to carnivores. So likewise, the energy able to flow. The question is how much amount of energy able to prepare and store the producers, how much amount of energy is able to transfer to the next group of organisms like a herbivores and a carnivores. So we are going to understand how the energy is able to flow from one group of organisms to another group of organisms. We are going to understand first a two laws, then a one process called as a food chain. The two laws are nothing but the first law of thermodynamics. The second one called as a second law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics means energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but get transferred from one form to another form. Neither energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but get transferred from one form to another form. So here the plants, by a process called photosynthesis, trap the sun energy, solar energy, then they are transferred into chemical energy. Chemical energy. Here energy neither be created nor be destroyed, just it will be transferred from different forms. Second law is nothing but the second law of thermodynamics, nothing but the when energy is transferred from one form to another form, some amount of energy will be evolved in the form of heat. What happens is in the what the second law states, when the energy able to transfer from one form to another form, during the transformation some amount of energy will be evaporated in the form of heat. In the form of heat. So here how much amount of energy is prepared and stored the green plants, these are the producers, how much amount of energy is consumed by consumer, and how much amount of energy is transferred to the decomposers. The flow of energy concept you are going to study through food chain. In the food chain you are going to know about food chain nothing but a series. Okay, a series. The transfer of energy from one trophic level to the another trophic level with repeated eating and being eaten. Okay, the transfer of energy from one group of organisms to another group of organisms. That is a producers to consumer, consumers to decomposers. Here trophic level means a group of organisms we call as a trophic level. A trophic level, a group of organisms irrespective of their size having same source of energy or similar food habit constitute similar food habit is togetherly called as a trophic level. Okay. In the next class we are going to discuss clearly what is meant by energy flow, and on the basis of first and second law of thermodynamics, how the energy able to flow from one form to another form, how much amount of energy is stored or remains in each and every trophic level, how much amount of energy is evolved in the form of heat. Okay, how the food chain is occur, in that food chain how the energy is flow. These things we are going to discuss in the next class. Okay, thank you.